Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are. I'm Kastika Winanda. You can call me Dheva. But for this video, I would like to read a book that was assigned for reading for enjoyment. This is what book I enjoy to read. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up Freak. Yes, you know the actual word is what I'm covering with my finger right now, but that's the appropriate version of it. This book is written by Mark Manson and published by Harper One Publisher Incorporation. Uh, the author described this book as a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. So without further ado, let's just read the book. So for the first chapter, it was called Don't Try. Charles Bukowski was an alcoholic, a womanizer, a chronic gambler, a loud, a cheapskate, a deadbeat, and on his worst day, a poet. He is probably the last person on earth you would ever look up for a life advice or expect to see any sort of self-help book, which is why he's the perfect place to start. Bukowski wanted to be a writer, but for decades, his work was rejected by almost every magazine, newspaper, journal, agent, and uh, publisher he submitted. His work was horrible, they say. Crude, disgusting, depraved, and the stack of rejection slip piled up. The weight of his failure pushed him deep into an alcohol-fueled depression that would follow him for most of his life. Bukowski had a day job as a letter filler at a post office. He got paid crappy ton of money, spent most of it on booze, gambled it away, and the rest it as the racetrack. At night, he would drink alone and sometimes hammer on poetry on his beat up old typewriter. Often he'd wake up on the floor, having passed out the night before. 30 years went by like this. Most of it is meaningless blur of alcohol, drugs, gambling, and prostitutes. Then, when Bukowski was 50, it was a lifetime of failure and self-loathing. An editor at a small independent publishing house took a strange interest in him. The editor couldn't offer Bukowski much money or much promise for sale, but he had a weird affection for the drunk loser. So he decided to uh, take a chance on him. It was the best. It was the first real shot Bukowski has ever gotten, and he realized probably the only one he would ever get. Bukowski wrote back to the editor, "I have one or two choices: stay in the post office and go crazy, or stay out there and play at a writer and starve. And I have decided to starve." Upon signing the contract, Bukowski wrote his first novel in 3 weeks. It was called simply Post Office. In the dedication, he wrote dedicated to nobody. Bukowski would make as a novelist and a poet. He would go on and publish 6 novels and hundreds of poems, selling over 2 million copies of his books. His popularity defied everyone's expectation, particularly his own. Stories like Bukowski are like the bread and butter of our cultural narrative. Bukowski's life embodies the American dream. A man fight for what he wants. He never give up and eventually achieve his wildest dream. It's practically a movie waiting to happen. We all look at the story like Bukowski and say, "See, he never gave up. He never stopped trying. He always believed in himself. He persisted against all the odds that make something of himself." It is then strange that on Bukowski's tombstone, the epitaph read, "Don't try." See, despite the book's sales and the fame, Bukowski was a loser. He knew it, and his success stemmed not from some determination to be a winner, but from the fact that he knew he was a loser and accepted it and then wrote honestly about it. He never tried to be anything other than what he was. The genius is in Bukowski's work was not in overcoming unbelievable odds of developing himself into a shining literal light. It was the opposite. It was the simple ability to be completely, unflinchingly honest with himself, especially the worst part about himself, and to share his failing without hesitation or doubt. This is the real story of Bukowski's success. His comfort with himself as a failure. Bukowski didn't give a single frick about success. Even after his fame, he still showed up to poetry reading hammered and verbally abused people in his audience. He expose himself in public and try to sleep with every woman he could find. Fame and success didn't make him a better person, nor was it by becoming a better person that he became famous and successful. Self-improvement and success often occur together, but but that doesn't necessarily mean they're the same thing. Our culture today is obsessively focused on unrealistically positive expectation. Be heavier, be healthier, be the best, better than the rest, be smarter, faster, richer, sexier, more popular, more productive, more envied, more admired, be perfect and amazing, and crap out 12 karat gold nugget before breakfast each morning while kissing your selfie ready spouse and 2.5 kids goodbye. Then fly, then fly a helicopter to your wonderfully fulfilling job where you spend your days doing incredibly meaningful work that is likely to save the planet one day. But when you stop and really think about it, conventional life advice, all the positive and happy self-help stuff we hear all the time is actually fixating on what the lack it lesser in what you perceive your personal shortcoming and failures to be already be, and then emphasize them for you. You learn about the best way to make money because you feel you don't have enough money already. You stand in the front of the mirror and repeat affirmation saying that you're beautiful because you feel as though you're not beautiful already. You follow the dating and relationship advice because you feel that you're unlovable already. You try goofy visualization exercise about being more successful because you feel as though you are successful enough already. Ironically, the fixation on the positive, on what's better, what's superior, only serve to remind us over and over and over again that we are not we of what we lack, of what we should have been but failed to be. After all, truly happy person feels the need to stand in front of the mirror and recite that she's happy. She's just happy. There's a saying in Texas: the smallest dog in the bark loud. The smallest dog bark the loudest. A confident man doesn't feel a need to prove that he's confident. A rich woman doesn't feel a need to convince anybody that she's rich. Either you are or you are not. And if you're dreaming of something all the time, then you're reinforcing the same unconscious reality over and over that you are not that. Everyone and their TV commercial wants you to believe that the key to a good life is a nicer job, or a more rug car, or a prettier girlfriend, or a hot tub with an inflatable pool with the kids. The world is constantly telling you that the path to be better in life is more, more, buy more, own more, make more, freak more, be more. You are constantly bombarded with the message to give a freak about everything. All the time, give a freak about the TV, give a freak about having a better vacation than your coworkers, give a freak about buying that new lawn ornament, give a freak about having the right to kind of selfie stick. Why? My guess, because giving a freak about some more stuff is good for business. And while there's nothing wrong with good business, the problem is that giving too many freaks is bad for your mental health. It causes you to become overly attached to the superficial and fake, to dedicate your life chasing a mirage of happiness and satisfaction. The key to good life is not giving a freak about more. It's giving lesser freak, giving a freak about only what's true and immediate and important. So I guess that's all for this video. That's basically cover the first subbab of the first chapter. So I would like to thank everyone for watching this video. That's all from me. See you next time. Peace out. Boom. uh, yeah, that's to do it.